Hello and welcome back. We're once again in Bree, and I need to get rid of a couple of things which I want to put in a vault so I have more space. But other than that, we're ready to leave town and go and defeat some more creatures. As such is our fate in Middle-earth, to defeat creatures. All right. Market Square, Lalia's Market, and the vault inside. The vault inside, the vault inside, dun, 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 the vault inside. There is the vault keeper, trying to pretend that, you know, they're taking good care of all this gold because they have fancy dress. Right. Get rid of some stuff, or rather, something that we'll use later on. You do not have enough room for that? Okay. I have 30 out of 30, so we'll add some space for 45 silver. Okay. Okay, the cloak we'll use soon. But you know, a couple more items to drag. It's a dragging matter, dealing with the vault. I think that's actually pretty good. Okay, we're good. Onwards. Well, so what I was thinking of doing actually is, we have another deed we haven't talked about much, is finding special flowers of significance in the old forest and some lore associated with that, which I think will be interesting. And in the old forest we can also find some, maybe not too many, but awakened trees, and so deal with this deed as well. So defeating Barghists and orcs will probably have to wait for the next episode, but I'll see you soon in the old forest. Alright, here we are in the old forest, and we have to look for plenty more flowers. If you recall, we found Mariel's flower and Elderla's flower. We need to find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more scattered in various places, of course. Yes, I believe there's one here. Kind of remember seeing something, but as for the whereabouts of the other flowers, I still do not know. The old forest is not a huge place, but it is a big place, and this will be interesting. The good news is though that each flower is associated with a story, so it won't be just boring fighting 20 creatures without... Oh yeah, this is good too though. We found awakened trees. Okay. Oh right, awakened tree. You count for the beat. All fruits? No. Let's see. We can go around here. Hey, what you doing? Oh no, Outcast Hunter. No, no, not you. Excuse me for just a second. Okay, we're back again. Distractions. Oh, the creaking veil. The creaking veil. I hear no creaking. Creaking veil. Hmm. I thought there might be a flower around this lake. Pretty sure there is. Uh-huh. There is one. Good. Bryglad's flower. And an earthly white flower gently glowing from within. The forest leaves nearby seem to whisper an ancient name as you approach. Okay, let's read about it. The flower of Bryglad is seen as a warning by superstitious folk who dare the depths of the old forest. She was an ant wife unusual amongst her sisters, for she was a wild and capricious being. Her gardens were populated by untamed beasts, and even the most delicate flowers within them were adorned with sharp thorns. Bryglad rarely spoke with mortals, preferring the wild places of the forest, and in time she gave herself to the forest to protect it from the dark powers. There are those who say her spirit is strongest when aroused by wild and dangerous times such as these. Or in that case, her spirit will be particularly strong now, given the times we live in. Very good. Okay, I think I'll keep pausing, guys. Just make sure I know the way to the next flower. Yeah. Okay, let's see. How should we approach this? Go through those trees. Yes, we have to follow the path. Follow the path. Okay. Here we go. Very interesting stories associated with each flower, which is great. Into the depths of the woods we're going now. Tater? I saw a tater. What is a tater? Ooh. Like me some old potatoes? Old and moldy? A tasty russet potato. Well, unfortunately, this is tasty and not moldy. Okay. Alright, bat. No quarrels with you, but now that you attack me, what can I do? What can I do? And here is the Cordophonet's flower. It's interesting that they're all unearthly white flowers, all of them without exception. Okay. You discovered Cordophonet's flower, said to be one of 8 Entwives sisters. Among her kin, she held most dear her affection for all living things. It was this affection that she lent the old forest when she passed into its depths long ago, that all manner of living things might find shelter within its bounds. The flower you have found marks the place where she entered the forest, and she has not been seen since. Alas, the old forest has oft been harmed by men or intruded upon by darker powers, and so it is said that her heart lies muted, and she sleeps more deeply than her sisters. Perhaps she is awaiting the day when this world might become a place of lighter moods, and the love of life is not so easily betrayed by axe or fire. I hope so too. Well, let us continue on our journey. Okay. So, our faithful Bramble, full of fate he is, he will find our road or our path, meet the trees, and we shall. Towards our next flower we go, full of excitement and a little tired. So tired of constantly looking at maps and not enjoying the leaves of the old forest. Okay. Let's see, can we? Yeah, I guess we have to go through the river here, which is fine. Hello there, old friend. Oh, just passing by. Look at the light. Old Muddyfoot's Hill. Yes, Wolf. That's exactly right. Follow the path a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit everywhere. So funny how the quest says use the flower, use this flower, use that flower, so just find them and dwell on their story. Why do we need to use them? That's what humans like to do, use stuff, consume stuff. You can just contemplate. Aha! Roston's flower. Behind that rock. Good. Okay. Roston's flower. We have found the flower of Roston. It is believed that she was once an Entwife who stood with vigilance over her gardens. None could approach without her knowledge, and those with evil intent would feel her gaze upon them and flee. She passed into the old forest many long years ago and became part of the forest, granting her keen senses to the trees and creatures herein that evil might not approach unseen. For those were dark days, and few places remained that were untouched by the power of Sauron. The flowers are said to mark the place where she disappeared into the forest and seemed to have been tended by someone. Perhaps Tom Bombadil is tending to all of those Entwives, but also not telling the Ents where the Entwives are and that they're not truly lost. How mean of Tom Bombadil. Well, I'm assuming too much. Alright, on to the next flower. Okay, so let's write once more. This time shall go. I don't think I can go through here. I'm beginning to understand the old forest now better. The story of the Entwives and why there's more sentience dwelling here among the creatures and the trees. They've had good teachers, and for many years from the Entwives. So yeah, that's understandable. Okay, so we need to go around that pretty lake or expansion of the river, if you will, the Witty Windows shallow places, and find our next flower. Find and not use it, I hope. Okay, very, very pretty here. Probably have to swim a little, so... Okay, look at the light. Alright. With the window crossing, yes. Please, please, bear, don't mind me, don't mind me. Don't you be angry. Angry at me for using flowers. I try to just look at them, not really use them. It looks like you're not just agitated, you were pre-agitated. Alright, Dorolin's flower. I'm just examining, I'm not picking them up, I promise. So, Dorolin's flower. The flower you found marks the place where the Entwife Dorolin passed into the old forest, perhaps forever. She was among the largest of her kind, taller than any other, for the essence of all that grows was at the core of her nature. The core. Why core? See, humans always think about cores. Her gardens were sprawling places wrapped in great vines, and enormous trees cast their shade upon acres of fertile ground. She gave herself to the old forest to ensure that it would grow great enough to protect itself from the incursion of evil such as orcs and thoughtless men. Some folks say that one day they will awaken and emerge from the forest, but no one knows when that might be. Right, 2 more flowers, guys. Alright, I'll see you soon. Here we are in another corner of the old forest. Hopefully finding the next flower. Nice and healthy. Forever growing, forever flowering, it seems. Yes. Spiders don't touch it. Literally, and also don't mar its beauty. Landwest flower. You have discovered the flower of Landwest. She was believed to be an Entwife known for her unquenchable passions. She could love as no other, but fury and despair were also her constant companions. Amongst her sisters, she was the first to give herself to the forest, swept by her own emotions to ensure its survival during the trials of those dark years. Her presence is strongly felt in these woods still. It is for fear of Lenwest's tempestuous anger that folk walk with care in the old forest, for many believe that if her heart turns against you, it is unlikely you will ever emerge from it again. Yeah, so it seemed that Sauron's dark influence back many years ago have forced or compelled the Entwives to leave their Ents and protect this forest. And just because they knew that the Ents would take care of the other forests. But who would take care of this one? So they just left. They felt compelled and urged them, probably even didn't have time to say goodbye, because it might have been too hard on the Ents, and they might have stopped him. But the Entwives just thought that it's more important to protect the rest of what is green on this earth than stay with their husbands. And I understand. So probably, I mean, there's just a conjecture on my end that it's probably what transpired all those many years ago. Yet Sauron still lives, and we have to deal with him soon. Sooner, right, rather than later. Alright, I'll see you towards the Silot's Flowers location. Okay, so here we are into the weeping water to find our last flower, Silot's flower. Virtue cap reached. Well, let's be a little more zealous then. very witty now, apparently. I don't feel myself, or I don't consider myself as very witty. I just moderately witty, I guess. The flowers of the old forest. And here is Silot's flower. We have found Silot's flower. She was said to have been a wonderful spirit. The flower or the Entwife? Her heart was unbowed even during the ancient war that drove the Entwife sisters here, for mirth and frivolity ever followed in her wake. And her gardens were believed to be places where even the weariest of mortals could bring themselves to smile and laugh. Oh, that's wonderful. Among the elves she was particularly beloved, and of those who remember her, they fear they may never again hear the sound of her laughter beneath the boughs of ancient trees. Very, very good, and sure Tom Bombadil found in her a kindred spirit. Alright, my friends, I think that's a good place as any to stop. And next time we'll unfortunately have to deal with less pretty things. Bye bye.